Hello, hello. God. Hello. Testing. Hello. Testing. Hello. Testing. Okay, you can hear the echo, huh? And then it's been a while. Is everything working? YouTube, Twitch. Twitter doesn't work anymore because I canceled my account, but that's fine. And then LinkedIn. Of all the places in the world that would have live stream, there's LinkedIn. That's kind of interesting, huh? Is it working? Where does it even show up? There's my account. Supposedly I'm live streaming on here right now. Guess I should open the chat window just in case. But this is not... I just really came here just to test things out and make a short video. Where did it go? There it is. Okay, so I get started. Hey everyone, this is Ryan. This Ryan right here. I don't have my camera today, but yeah. So Tezcon 2026 is coming up real soon. It's July 11th at the Hiawatha Artist Loft, and things are coming together. We just had a meeting this weekend. But there's a lot going on, and I just kind of wanted to make a sort of informal video about like where things are going, how we're hoping Tezcon will turn out, and the what are you talking about? How it ties into kind of the broader things that have been happening on the Tezos ecosystem. So this video is mostly towards the Tezos community. And it's been a while since I've done live streaming because the whole site, social media has been very unstable lately. So yeah, so it's been really tough to get the kind of reach that you were used to, Like I cover like niche topics most of my life, so I'm used to not having I'm used to having small crowds, but like lately, it's not even like reaching out to the people that I already know, So, okay, so one thing that people should know is that Tezos Commons, and there's a bunch of us in. I guess I could show this. There's a bunch of us that have been slowly migrating over to Blue Sky. And so you can't really post about that on Twitter because if you do, they'll probably shadow ban you. You know, they don't want people going over to their competitors, right, so to speak. But it is happening, and people are slowly kind of trickling in. So if you've been wondering where people have been online, it might be good to check it out, you know. And it was been pretty inactive for a while, but lately Tezos Commons has been mostly due to Johan, who has always been here. They've been like doing some integrations, so you can get badges. So you can actually connect your wallet directly into here, which is like something Twitter has been talking about doing for a long time, but never got around to it. But, you know, Tezos people, we just like to build, so it's already here. So I think it'll be interesting because Paul, who is a ghost, last time announced that he's working on a Tezos, not Tezos, but he's working on a Spaces kind of format. You know, Twitter Spaces, right? The voice chat thing. So that's really the main reason why a lot of us are still there. Like a lot of the fees and the stuff you read is just like really not worth the time anymore. But we still stick around on that site because we just like talking to each other, right? Using voice. So they're going to be there for, so they're creating a decentralized version of that on here, which just sounds pretty interesting, you know? So we'll see what happens. I've been also updating teia.cafe's pitch deck. This is supposed to be kind of informal, so everything's just kind of a little bit messy right now. But we are kind of like pitching ourselves to be an open source startup. And so we're going to be, after Tezcon, we're going to be really pushing really hard to try to fundraise for our project. And we're hoping people will be interested in supporting us to make build more features on top of things like Teia, you know? Because I do think Teia really is the kind of the de facto like web NFT. How do you see? This is why I need to work on the pitch deck. It's hard to talk about, but we're kind of the open source community of NFTs. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's the de facto open source community of NFTs, because everything we do here runs on open source, you know, and it's decentralized, you know, about Teia's governance structures and all that kind of stuff. And it's artist owned. And yeah, and everything we do is on the blockchain. So I haven't really announced this to people yet because I've been really busy building things. But this is a good list of things that are coming very soon to Teia. Maybe even a little bit too much because we haven't had time to even educate people on how these things work. So we're going to just launch it, and then we're going to merge it to the site, teia.art. And then we'll sort of like start explaining to people how this stuff works. But this is a good list. So on-chain messaging, so direct wallet-to-wallet communications, that's been here for, you know, like a month or two already. We have token-gated commenting. We have commenting on polls now, which wasn't previously possible. We have a wiki system, which I'm really excited of introducing because this will give community members a direct way to showcase things in a way that doesn't require them to do a pull request on GitHub, you know? So we simplified the process of updating the site a bit, and then we will show you, I'll show that in a second. We have notifications now. We have stats, which is something that I think will help a lot because, especially at fundraising, because that's the sort of things, you know, financial places tend to look out for. So as long as there's tracking, you can kind of keep tabs on what's happening on the site, right? For better or worse. So we thought this was like a kind of no-brainer thing that we should do. We should have just added. We have async notifications. This was a little bit tricky because we wanted to avoid making having to run a server to give people notifications. So if you didn't know, like most social media sites run on a database or some kind of server of some sort, right? And then that's what keeps your notifications between your phone and your desktop in sync. But since we can't do that, we decided to do that with an async model that's stored locally. So this is a pretty good compromise between the two. And then so now you can have notifications on Teia throughout various activities that are happening. And I'll show that in a second as well. We also have artist to validator. This is, a lot of people don't know what a baker is, but if you're a Tezos person, you know what a baker is. But we have started to do some integrations with that. Starting this last month or so, and then activity feeds. And then, like I said, it's not done yet, but we also come up with improved collab contracts, which has been asked for a while, as well as on-chain collections. That is our task list this summer. So it's a little interesting because we are looking to get support for contributing to open source projects. Like normally when you start a startup, everything is proprietary, and then the VCs or investors and the team both own the code that gets created during that process, right? Here we're sort of taking a different approach, and we're contributing to the source code directly. Now, like a lot of this is done through volunteer work, and that's also very important, but there are some things that take kind of like an intense amount of focus to get done, like a lot of these things, right? We've been working on this full time, okay? So, so that's why we've been pretty busy getting this out there, but it's finally coming together. And then once it's all done, I think we'll have a pretty good, we'll be in a pretty good place to where we can start pitching this thing. Because basically what we have done is turn teia.art. This is the preview site. You can actually check it out right now on preview.teia.art. But we've been turning it into a social media platform that runs completely on the blockchain. Mostly on the blockchain, if you want to be pedantic, but but everything runs through your wallet here. It runs on my Tempo wallet here, and I will show that in a second. So here, in no particular order, I'm just going down the list here. So this is new. We just implemented this yesterday, in fact. There's going to be an activity feed, and wow, you can see the sales when someone creates something, when someone has listed their works. And this just gives something for people to pay attention to on the site, And and this will, I think this will help a lot. There's a lot of cool things happening on Teia, but a lot of people don't know about it because, we just didn't have the UI to show it, And so if you look at it, this happened 3 minutes ago. This is live, by the way, 20 minutes. Like, Teia has always been active, throughout, even during the bear markets, and not a lot of people realize that. So this will help with, just showing people what has been going on. And there was already some feedback about adding activity feeds to some of the other features that are happening here as well. So this has been around a while. This is the blogging platform. We just call it text because, Teia, we're here, we're very minimalist here, So what is a blog post? Well, it's text. So you'll be able to see posts made by community members. Someone, Ever Thallis, a longtime member here too, has posted some kind of essay here. It's in text markdown, but it will also list the, it would also show the, what do you call the, blanking out. It would also show, text mints, so plain text as well. So that's, if you know about that, you would know. But anyway, so we have both a feed for this and that. We have also added comments on the feature, which I'll show in a sec. Actually, let's just stay in order. I'll get to the comments thing later. Okay, so the wiki thing, which I mentioned earlier, this is like a big deal because here, multi-sig members, so the core team of the Teia, plus moderators, who we will be adding very soon. So someone like Malicious Sheep is a very good candidate for that. But anyone who wants to be a moderator on the Teia wiki or the blog or just, in general, will be able to moderate the site to make sure, keep things like harassment and spam and all that kind of stuff down to a minimum. And all this time they've been doing it manually, okay? Like there's Merchant, Mal, Pokey, Zero does it sometimes too. They are on the site every day making sure that it's safe for everyone to use. A lot of people take it for granted because they don't see that work, but this will give them the ability to moderate the site using their wallet, actually. And I don't know if something like this has really been done before. It might be somewhere out there, but not to this level, right? So basically the wiki functions just like any other wiki. Create a new page. I'm a multi-sig member, so I have the ability to create a new page, and it can be like, hey, events on, actually, maybe I should do it live. Maybe I'll do it live right now. Teia events. All of this can be edited, so I'm not gonna sweat it too much, but Tezcon 2026 in Seattle, Washington. July 11, 2026. At Hiawatha, Artists Blog. Same thing here. I'm not going to get into the title because it turns into a long conversation, but Actually, since I'm here, maybe I can just put the, No, sorry, I'm like going into work mode. Okay, that's good enough. And I'm just gonna create. It's gonna ask for a transaction because this is, you know, oopsie, I think I messed it up by opening it up prematurely. Oops, not AI, no. Okay. Let me try that again, actually. So, teia events. I'm gonna edit it later. So, Tezcon 2026, July 11th. It's a basic version. I can't help myself. I gotta be thorough, you know? That's just like, I just can't help it. Okay, there we go. It's working now. So, cool. So now this teia events will be right here and anyone can see it. And anyone now say, okay, so right now this function is only available to the teia core team and the assigned moderators. But what if you're a community member and you have an event that you would like to propose? Well, you can go to you can sign in with, if you have at least one teia token, instead of edit here, instead of this edit button, there will be a button that says propose edit, and you can add your entry here and it will go to this proposals page. So Joe has been, we were testing it out earlier today. Approved, 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 or rejected, right? It works just like Wikipedia and other places, but it's on the blockchain, okay? So that's the big thing. And yeah, so this will help a lot, especially for non-developers who've been dying to make changes to the site that just simple things like documentation. Hey, here's the history of teia. Here's some cool sites that are in the Tezos ecosystem. Anything, right? And if someone creates a new site and they want to get a little bit of they want people to know, they want community members to know, they can propose a change here. And all they need is one teia token, and that's pretty easy to get. If you want one, I can send you one. It's like very cheap. It's not designed. This token is utility. Okay, it's not designed for speculation. So, all right. Yeah. So that's already in preview, but we're gonna push this to the main site as soon as it can. There's a few bugs left, but we're getting really close to getting it done. And once it gets rolling, I think it'll be pretty cool. Okay, about page. This is the same. Getting started, that's the same. The copyright marketplace is also the same, but it's nice to see that some people have been trying it out. Basically you register your work on here. It's a little reminder. The artist can specify what you can or cannot do as an owner of your work. And so if you buy the NFT and you have an owner, so if you're an owner, you can show it in public. You You have to give attribution, but you cannot make t-shirts out of it, you know? So a lot of times people leave these things ambiguous, and that's leads to trouble, you know? That's where the lawyers come in, and they try to work it out because, you know, people just say a bunch of stuff and then they're like, hey, you stole my work. And so this just prevents all of that from happening, right? You just be very clear about what your work is, what you can or cannot do, and if you want to buy something, and this gives the artists the power to kind of set their own, to protect themselves in their own way without having to rely on like a legal document, right? I mean, if you want to do that, it's always fine, right? Like for some people, that works better because it can't really beat hiring an expert, right? But this is some record that you can create for yourself, and just be clear about like what you want or do not want, right? For people to do with your work. Okay, so this is also pretty new, just in a couple of weeks. It's Tezos. It's a Tezos. No, how do you say it? It's basically, someone said, oh, it's kind of like Reddit, huh? It's a forums. So this is part of the messaging system that we've been developing here. And I'm going to close my thing. So now we have direct wallet-to-wallet messaging, right? So when you go on Teia, all you see is a wallet address. How do you get in contact with that person? Well, I don't know, right? Like, in the past, there was really no way unless they happened to put their social media, but lots of people don't because, they don't bother, or, we don't ask that kind of questions on a decentralized platform. But here, you can like connect to people directly. So if I want to talk to Joe directly, I already have a DM with that person. This person, I'm not sure. Libertez, I know. By the way, just FYI, it says private here, but everything is on chain, so it's technically readable by any explorer. So if you're going to be using the private, so-called private really means that it's just between you and this person, or you and certain members of a group. But the messages themselves, anyone can read, so just be aware of that. We might add encryption later, but for now, it is what it is, This is the first version of it. You will also get notifications for updates on channels, and then polls. So we've been testing this on this test poll. And we use this for governance things, if there's things the community really wants to discuss in depth, So if they want to do votes, it's just like any other poll on social media, except that it's on the blockchain. And then now we have comments. So, yeah. I'm amazed. Like, Joe has been very thorough with this stuff, and he does some like really amazing work. Okay, so we're just gonna breeze through everything. If you have any questions, just let me know. Happy to answer. We have added the bakers page. We used to have this on teia.cafe because we wanted to foster closer relations between the validators, right? Bakers, validators, and the arts community. So we thought it'd be good to just kind of showcase this. And now you can see which baker you are delegated to currently. So I'm delegated to Zero, because Zero is the hero and he is the best. So you can also see, or is it here? Yeah, so it's also in the tokens themselves. So you can kind of click on things. Oops. So you have like a general idea of like what the baker is. If you click on the thing, there's also detailed information about each baker and including the delegators who are out there. Wow, this person has a lot, almost 1 million Tez. That's like $35 at least, you know. oh, sorry. Maybe that's a bad joke, you know, because people are hurting for money right now. I mean, I'm in that group too, you know. The markets are not great, but try to have a sense of humor about it, you know. So anyway, artists are always complaining about not having enough money. So I thought it'd be a good idea just to start a connection, right? Now, right now, it doesn't really do much aside from letting people know that this is a thing. But, you know, in the future, you can kind of imagine, since you're directly integrating the artist's works with the baker they're delegated to, you know, they kind of serve as kind of like a quasi weird hybrid between a sponsor and a bank, you know. I don't know. So I really do believe that the artists community and the baking community have a lot to offer to each other, because they are really competing here amongst each other. And you know, when an artist decides to delegate their wallet to a certain baker, that says something, right? It's like a little bit of marketing. It shows that, hey, I trust this person. Maybe you should try it out. And so it's like a beginning of a new like business model that hasn't been quite explored yet. Okay, Mint. If you've been on this site, you know all about this page. This page has not been changed, although we will be updating the minting contract very soon. This I already showed. Yeah, the update to the baker. Collaborate. We will also be updating our collab contract, because we've gotten complaints that it's a little hard to use. You know, it works, but the flow is a little tough. So we will be making big updates in that area. Okay, so this is the stats part. This is the part that we added because, you know, we're kind of going into fundraising mode. But there's basically this what's been going on. This keeps track of what's been going on with the channels. So, you know, I remember the public channels, the Reddit, the forums, whatever you want to call it. It has this. Basically, this is a dashboard for moderators. But the difference between this and most other sites is that this is publicly visible. Now, unless you're an assigned moderator, you won't have these buttons here, but you'll be able to see what is actually happening. You know, so we believe in transparency here. That's what it is. Here's a here's an activity feed. Really, it's like almost like an activity feed in a lot of ways, but with what do you call moderation functions. The styling on this is a little off, but we'll fix that later. It's tough for Joe because he's not a multi-sig member, so he can't actually see this. Only I can. So I gotta let him know. Write it down. So this is the comments on the tokens, because some of the team members were concerned about potential issues, right? Like harassment, scams, and all that kind of stuff. And they take their moderation role very seriously. So we wanted to give them a application that, you know, suits what they're looking for. So yeah, so this is all very... Okay, hold on, I'm not gonna click on No one's gonna miss this one. All right, not bad. Hide. I don't want to ban Joe. That would be bad. Comment hidden by moderator. There you go. So now it is no longer there. You can unhide it in case, they're like, oh, I didn't mean that. Stuff happens. All right. Okay, the governance page is getting very busy. Okay, so this was here before. This is like the overview, of our DAO. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to say anything, but by the way, proposals, this is the same. We haven't really had a need to use this yet. This is for like very like core, like this is like existential kind of changes that need to be done. Luckily, we haven't really had much of that kind of type of issues. It's like, this has to do with like the legal things, like our nonprofit status, something that will change the core being of Teia itself. But we haven't had to do that, thankfully. But it is there, just in case. Text proposal, this is just submitting a new proposal for, So this used to be sort of on a standalone site, but now we have the functionality in here. And this should make it a little easier for the core team, especially, to do their work, that they do every day. Okay, so this is important. This is the actual stats, and this keeps a track of all of the activity that's been happening on chain. So we don't really have a database here. We don't have a server on Teia that, we don't do tracking. We don't keep track of views and likes and all that kind of stuff. We only keep track of transactions. So all of this info is public already, but we thought it was important that we actually make it easier for people to understand, because up until now, like I said, like Teia has always been active. Like there's not a day where people are not doing something, and but the problem is that people don't know about that, So here it would make it very clear that people have been doing stuff, and these channels, and these are all new features, right? So it's going to take some time to kind of get there, but we are ready, in case people start using it heavily. We'll be able to keep track of like how much and, who, and like how it's going. We also have fees now, like with a lot of these features. Teia has been like kind of running on bare bones, and up until now it's been okay because people were willing to donate, and we'll still be asking for donations, but we need to like recoup some of the costs of like, minting things, because it's not free, right? You got to pay for storage costs, you got to pay for pinning costs. So this is a way to make it a little easier on the volunteers to kind of recoup their costs. And every year we talk to Zero and Ktorn and the people that help run the servers, and then we reimburse them for how much it costs to keep this site running. In theory, though, anyone can do it, because it's open source. If you want to spin up your own version of Teia, anyone can do it at any time. There just hasn't been a need for more than one, but kind of like what happened with Hickendunk. When the site went down, people were real sad, but they revived it less than 48 hours, I believe. It went down, and people are like, "What?" And then it went back up the next day. That's basically the story of Teia in a nutshell. This is the moderator thing. This is to give people, moderation. Yeah, this is a little bit redundant. I think it was in the other side as well, but yeah, comments and all that kind of stuff. Okay, the copyright registrar is just basically the copyright system that I was talking about earlier. This is just where you do it, and basically you just add your token to whatever is needed. All right. Is that it? That was a lot. I understand. It's been, yeah, I said it was going to be like a short video, but it's like more than half an hour, just because there's a lot. But I figure, I've been like making posts about it. I've been like withdrawing from Twitter slowly because I've kind of like, lost patience with a lot of the half-baked updates, let's say, so I'm probably not going to be posting as much anymore, and I don't have my blue check mark anymore, so I can't do long posts like I used to. But all of that is like going here. And so the premise for this whole thing is that, can we turn Teia into a social media site? It's a bit might be a little awkward because everything runs on the blockchain and it's gonna feel unfamiliar, right? So it's not like regular places like Blue Sky and other sites. It's not like people are gonna stop using it, but here, because everything's decentralized, we have a potential to really create a new like a new world, right? Almost. I mean, I'm not trying to over exaggerate, but this is really like a completely new thing that has never been done before. And it's decentralized, it's international, no one owns it. All the data is on the blockchain, so everything is transparent. And we're hoping that people will come to see it as like a really like a very different alternative to what everything else that's out there. And we're going to see, we're going to see how far we can take it. And we're going to see who is willing, who finds this interesting enough to throw us some support, because there's still a lot of work to be done. We've come very far with like, we've come so far, compared to like how this site was like even like a year ago. But I think after we push everything to the main site and people start slowly trickling in and, checking it out, we're not going to make it a big deal. But like, oh, well, now I can create like, hey, what do you guys think about pizza? Like, I don't know. Like, there's someone on Tezos that gives me crap for that every time, like, because I made some offhand comment about like not liking pineapple pizza, and then they were making fun of me, like I don't know, it's like an ongoing joke, but I don't know, right? So I really don't know how or what people are going to be using this for, but I think now that we can, all of these things are networked under the same system, anything could happen, and we're going to see, especially with this Voices of Iran project. I think is very relevant because, we are basically highlighting the thoughts and works of people in that region right now, and we're doing it through the blockchain, censorship resistant and all that, right? Like a lot of the artists that are participating are taking a risk with their own safety, just participating in this. But the blockchain allows them to stay anonymous, while at the same time, we know who they are because it's their wallet, right? And this is going to be like a great display of like what the blockchain really was meant for, especially since now the markets kind of suck, right? Like, we need to remind people, like, hey, we can do great things with these with technology like this. This is what it was meant for. This is how it can be used. It can be meaningful beyond meme coins and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about all these things that are coming. And so after this, I'm gonna go back into my cave and start get back to work. But yeah, we're trying to time it for July 11th, and then most of the things that I just talked about should be ready by then. And then this is kind of where we're gonna really kick it off. So okay, well, if you watch this whole thing, thank you very much. I know it's very long and a lot of information, but I thought it was important to kind of, just keep people in the loop and, reasons to be optimistic about what's been going on here. There's a lot of bad news floating around these days, but things can still be done, and it's going to happen right here. So, okay, well, thanks for hearing me out, and see you in the next one. I'm still here. That's just where I'm gonna do my my edit.